tier one cities, you're looking at maybe $600 to $800 on the tickets, maybe even more. You got the popcorn, you got the Pepsi, you got the samosa. It's a lot. Because there was a time in India when it was just all word of mouth, right?
Yeah, correct.
It was just all word of mouth, but that's changed. And why do you think that's changed? Why do you think people are more interested in reading reviews by critics? What do you think's driving that?
I guess because of social media, this has magnified because opinions matter is what I feel, and ticket prices also matters. So
for sure.
If you want to go out with a family for a movie, it's almost a 5,000 rupee fare.
Yeah.
So one has to be conscious, and then people follow those whose opinions matter sometimes. There are paid reviews, there are unpaid reviews. My reviews have been unbiased, and I purely go by what I feel. I don't care about what box office may transpire, because sometimes your verdict may be too low, but the box office could be magnum. But that happens. That's because of the stardom. That's because of the marketing behind the film that goes in.
So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting what you said right there, Prakash, because I think that's something that's really driving the industry today is the economics of it. When we talk about economics, of course, there's the budget behind making the film, the cost of the actor, and all the things that we hear that go on in the filmmaking process for the producer and his or her team. But there's also the economics of moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and boyfriends and girlfriends and people and husbands and wives that want to go to the cinema. Like you said, it's a really expensive thing, and it's an investment now. $5,000 is an investment. If you're going to go see a film at a Cineplex here in Mumbai or one of the other tier one cities, you're looking at maybe $600 to $800 on the tickets, maybe even more depending upon the film. And then of course, you got the car, you got the parking, you got the petrol, you got the popcorn, you got the Pepsi, you got the samosa. It's a lot, right? And people want to make sure that they're taking out time to invest. So I think that critics play a really important role in kind of helping people discern and pick what they want to look at. Do you find that you have a following of people who constantly tap in with you because they like your view, your opinion? They're like, oh, if Prakash liked it or if Prakash didn't like it, that I know that I could go to that film because he said yes or he gave it a good rating where, others haven't or something like that.
Yeah, so as I said, my circle is more of the people whom I know. I'm not publicly out yet as such. My engagement is not very high on social media, wherein people come and, if I say something about Allu Arjun or Ranbir Kapoor, they won't come and hit me. So that's not there. But of course, my people do connect and they see what I'm saying, and accordingly, sometimes they decide whether they want to watch the film or they don't want to watch the film. Or sometimes because of the review, they come across the film which they could have never watched or thought of watching, but they end up watching because it was a recommendation on my page. So sometimes that's also there, and you feel good. And many times people come back and say, okay, you mentioned this and I had gone to see this film and thank you so much for this recommendation. So that also happens. So sometimes, but I don't crave for that validation much. Primarily I review for my own self as well, because when I watch a film, I want to have an opinion about that. Not that I want to influence my opinion on others.
Okay.